Voila. Okay, so have a seat. What we're doing this evening is, some of you, most of you were in class on Monday, and we worked on Padmasana, or the actions to get to Padmasana. And on Tuesday morning, we worked on lower backs. And so tonight, we're going to kind of in a weird way combine those two things. Yesterday morning, we worked on lower backs, but we kind of led towards Malasana actions. So we're going to do kind of a combination tonight, which I hope, if things go as planned, will culminate in approaching Padmasana in a different way. Because Padmasana, it's so weird. Different ways work better for different people. That's been my experience. So we'll do that tonight, and hopefully it will give you some, I don't know, understanding, relief, help. I don't know. But typically when working with the legs in that way, it can be really useful in relieving the lower back. Oh, and so much so, because I had one or two of you email me about low back issues. Yesterday morning's class, yesterday was Tuesday, I went ahead and uploaded that onto my channel this morning, so that, if you continue to have issues, or if you have questions, maybe regarding what we do tonight or something like that, you can maybe go there and practice if you want and see, I always find when classes work for me, I want to go back and do again. And kind of the cool thing about those recordings is you can stop them and go back and, and kind of examine it a little bit. So go ahead and have a seat. Cross the legs at the center shin bones, feet under the knees, be in Swastikasana. And as we've been doing lately, make a fist with your hand, place that fist by your outer hips, press the fist down so your hips hover. There should be absolutely no effort in the legs, the hips, the abdomen, the low back. Just allow that area to hang out, literally. Feel that you can steer your breath into the side ribs. And then very, very slowly and gently, give the weight back to the legs. And it's sort of like, to some degree, let the cards fall where they may, but to another degree, also work to set down evenly on both buttock bones, evenly in weight, also evenly on which one's closer or further from the wall in front of you. Rest the hands and turn the upper arms out, then bring the palms together. I'm just not ready to take that hat off yet, but I will in a minute. As you press the palms together, broaden the collarbones and release the shoulders away from the ears, so that as you close the eyes themselves can draw back towards the brain. The bridge of the nose draws back towards the brain, the jawline back. Breathe. Breathe in and out through the nose, steer that breath into the side body. Release the head down towards the heart center and surrender there completely, totally. Release the hands with the palms up. Bring the head up with closed eyes. And then gently open the eyes. All right, so I want to start this evening in downward dog, but with support. So I don't ask you to do that often. Those of you that are here with me live probably know what I mean by that. Well, there's lots of ways to do downward dog with support. The way I mean tonight is with support for the top thighs. So if you have wall ropes, it's for wall ropes. That's how we would normally, use the wall ropes. But if you don't have wall ropes, what you can do is you use a door with a doorknob on both sides. If you don't have that, it's okay. You can just do regular downward dog with your heels against the wall would be helpful. But otherwise, you take a strap and you loop it. Then you take that loop. I have no doorknob here, but you can imagine if I opened a door, right? And there's the door here, and there's the doorknob that's on the inside of the room, and the doorknob that's on the outside of the room. You take this and you loop it, right, on both doorknobs like that. And there's a doorknob here, and you got to loop it on that side. That's the best as I can describe it without a door, and I can't turn you to face the door. So you would hook that around both doorknobs, and then you have this great loop here, and that goes around your front thighs, and you take downward dog. I hope that makes sense. If you're looking at the recording and you think that doesn't make any sense at all, there's a video on it. So you can just stop this and look at the video, and then you'll go, oh, like that, that's simple. So that's the story. I'm slightly hidden from you today when I do my downward dog because I have the trestle out, because we're going to use it in a little bit. So pardon me for being a little bit behind it. In all cases, that strap should be at the very top groin. Lean into it, bring your hands down. It's okay if your knees bend. If you've got a wall back there behind you, you put the heels against the wall. If not, keep them steady. If you're on that door frame, or if you're on the door, yeah, the door will move a little from side to side, but you can find a sense of even. Now to start, be on your fingertips and roll your side ribs to your collarbones forward. Lift through the knees so the front thigh quadricep presses back, and spread the mounds of the foot, and you will then feel the back leg can broaden. Now, as you do all of those things, roll the side body forward. So you're creating some space in the waist, low back, frontal groin. Then walk the hands forward. Keep the hands pressing down. It's like they want to walk forward infinitely. But then reach the heel bones down. Let that reach of the heel bones lengthen your back waistband down across the buttock and towards the heels. Should almost feel like a flowing of prana down the back leg. And as a result, the abdominal region can become hollow, release. Of course, you have to work to turn the upper arms towards the ground as you lengthen that outer armpit. It's the first pose of the day. So that might be a little, it might come a little bit at a time. Sorry, I'm talking into my sweater. Keep the breath moving in and out through the nose. Now, keep that rope there at your top thigh. Walk your hands towards you a little bit. Walk your feet towards the hands a little bit until your feet are almost under your hips. And then lift through the legs again, hold the elbows, and that strap or rope can continue to support you a little bit. But you might find that as time goes by here, the legs engage and are more responsible as time goes by. So that rope will be a little less, I don't know, necessary. Lengthen the side body down, surrender the low back, the sacral region. Feel even the back body flow downward. Change the crossing of your arms, but continue. And then once again, walk the feet back, walk the hands forward. Once again, downward dog. As you reach the heels back and down, continually seek to elongate more in the side body with the neck soft. And then again, walk the hands back, walk the feet forward. Again, be in Uttanasana for a moment. Outer ankles firm in, inner ankles lift up. Change the arms. And then release the arms, and with your inhale, come on, up to standing. Very carefully come out of that strap. And come back to standing in Tadasana. Let's see. And let's take Tadasana this evening with our backs against a wall. So bring the feet together, bend the knees. Feel how the wall draws the flesh of the buttock downward as you lift through the legs. And as you begin to lift the kneecaps up, maintain the buttock down and spread the mounds of the foot so that the low back lengthens and the tailbone comes in. Now reach the arms forward, hook your thumbs. Feel that your side waist remains back, but that also your upper shoulder blades broaden now as you reach the arms away from you. Now, stay in the lower body. It's if we had partner work to do, we'd be in partners and you'd be pressing someone's thighs to the wall. So imagine someone's pressing your thighs to the wall. And inhale, begin to lift the arms up. Now, as you do, lift out of your back ribs. Do not collapse in your back waistband. Instead, elongate in the back waistband and come on up. Once you come up, maybe the fingernails touch the wall. If they do, firm the triceps to the midline and crawl up the wall. Arms forward and down. Change the crossing of your thumbs. You can re-hook the buttock and bend the knees if you want. Inhale, come on up. Elongate. Thigh back, buttock down so the tailbone is deep. And then come on down. Awesome. You can step away from that wall for a moment. Keep that Tadasana action as if the wall were there helping you. We're taking Garudasana, so you're going to take the right leg over the left leg. So you want to cross that leg way close to the top of the thigh and hook the toes on the other side of the ankle. Now, when your hands on your hips now, feel the pressure in your left heel bone. So the left shin bone has a sense of lifting as you bend the left leg. It's like a pulley action. As that lifts, you go down, buttock descending. Your right knee is the one on top, but you see it'll want to go over towards the left. So hit the right knee to the right, so the two legs hit into one another, and the tailbone comes in. Now, your right arm's on the bottom, your left arm's on the top. Keep the knees pressing gently but steadily into one another. And then, oh, easy for me to say, and then let your forearms rise up so the elbows come to the height of the shoulders. Broaden the shoulder blades, but deepen and descend both frontal groins. Inhale, come up. Change sides. So hook first. To hook, you really have to get that leg to cross over. That's okay. Bend into the standing leg. So right heel down, right shin bone up as you bend. And then left knee hits a little to the left. So you're hugging that midline with the legs. Now left leg's on top. That means left arm's on the bottom. Now hug the midline with both arms and legs as you inhale and begin to lift those elbows up. It's hard to talk and do and watch all at the same time. The arms are going to be right in front of your face, and that's correct. You don't need to see anything. Forearms away from you. Back waist long. Then release and inhale and come on up. Tadasana. Okay, so now we're going to do that same thing at a wall. Some of you were with me in class yesterday. We started class this way yesterday. So what you'll do is when you face a wall, you're not going to put your back on it, you're going to face it. Watch me first, and then we'll all do together. You'll bend a little and get that right leg over the left leg. Because I have this balance here, I can turn my chest to face the wall. The pelvis turns to face the wall more and more. But you see this part of my back descends, so the tailbone's in, shoulder blades back. So that then in time, you can either walk your hands up, but the tailbone will have a sense of being in, and the abdomen lifts as resulting action. Then if you want from there, you can hook and pull up. Okay? Ready? Face a wall. So once you're there, bend your knees a little bit, bring that right leg across the left leg and hook the toes. If you can, you hook them twice. All right, so your right toes reach down towards the inner left ankle. Bear weight in the left heel so the left shin bone rises, and connect that to the buttock descending. So that when that heel is down, the tailbone is in. Breathe into the side ribs, and slowly you can walk the hands up. So the side ribs lift away from the waist. Keep the legs steady. Right arm goes under, left arm on top. Lift through the arms. So lift through the chest. Elbows about shoulder height. And then release and come up. Change sides. So be very, very clear about this lower back region is not moving. I don't even know if I can show it. I'm kind of moving it in there. That's incorrect. You see how much the low back elongates so it descends down. I hope that's apparent. Left leg on top of the right leg. Bend that right knee. Hands, shoulders distance, don't be in a hurry, because if you get your hands at shoulders distance, you can turn your chest and your pelvis to face the wall. It's not about balance. It's not about that relieves the balance. It's about alignment, clarity, understanding. Now, descend the frontal groins. And as you press into that left heel bone, feel, oh, tailbone's in. So now start to crawl the hands up the wall and take with it these side ribs. Keep the stability in the legs. And now if you can, you're going to take the arms and cross the arms. I think your left leg's on top, so that means left arm on the bottom. Lift through the elbows, forearms going up as the buttock descends, Jarian. Descend, just like you're on the wall with that Tadasana. Okay, and then release and come up. Just be in Tadasana. In fact, go back to wall. Tadasana against the wall. The weird little creature on my wall. I thought he was a mosquito, and it's like, how could a mosquito live in the winter? It's not a mosquito. So find that Tadasana again. Then step your feet a couple inches away from the wall. Find Tadasana again. Spread the mounds of the foot so the thigh is also back. So it's really like a teeter-totter action or a dance between buttock down, thighs back. The thighs going back originate from the spread in the mound of your foot, big toe to small toe. Now, you might have to lean, that's okay. Bring your right leg up for tree pose. And as soon as you do, and as soon as that leg's up, put your hands on your waist and bend that left leg again to catch that Tadasana action yet again. Firm the outer left hip in as the inner right heel presses. And feel that it's about, the feeling happens in about the last 4 inches or so of your inner right thigh. That region should feel like it flows away from you. Your hips, both on the wall. But descend from this right front groin and flow the frontal thigh in its entirety towards the kneecap. So in a weird way, it's like the femur bones being pulled over there away from you. Then put your elbows against the wall. So hips are even, elbows are even, shoulders are even. Press the elbows, upper arm turns out, and the 2 hips evenly leave the wall. Now, work with the buttock down, left thigh bone back so that the tailbone is in. Continue with that sensation of the inner thigh, frontal thigh, flowing away from you, and lift the chest. So that as you stand more and more to firm that outer left hip in, you can begin to become aware that both outer hips, both outer gluteal regions are firm and in. And then release that side. Bend the knees, hook the buttock, and side 2. Bend the knees, hook the buttock. Firm the outer right hip in. Keep the 2 hips even on the wall. There's a surrender that has to take place in this lifted leg. I'm not mirroring you. This is my left leg. But typically when we lift the leg up, we really hike it. And I really want you to be aware if that happens. Firm this outer right hip in because that helps. So that as you just work here, elongate this inner thigh to the inner knee. Then feel the frontal groin deepens and flows towards the top of the kneecap. So this leg starts to be flowing away from you. Now elbows on the wall evenly. Press the elbows, upper arms turn out, and the 2 hips evenly leave the wall. Outer right hip in. Frontal left groin descends and lengthens away. Keep working, right thigh back, tailbone in. So it's not like you're trying to swivel your hips towards the wall, even though that can be seductive. Keep your elbows on the wall. Keep the arms turning out so the chest lifts. Focus on the action we're working on in the outer hips, because you're going to need it. Observe how your right outer hip, it'll firm first probably. Get that outer left hip to build that firmness. Then back to Tadasana and back away from the wall now, middle of the room. So now I'll mirror you because I'm away from that wall. I kind of just forgot. Bring your right leg up. Hands can come to the chest. Feel this flowing away, but stand in the left thigh, buttock descending both sides. Then bring the arms up. You can separate the palms if necessary. Now, as your left thigh goes back and the buttock descends, there should be space in the low back. Firm this outer left hip in. You should feel that in the outer left gluteal. But as you lift through the side body, without it knocking your hips super off kilter, roll the right knee back. And feel how that gives you that lengthening in the leg and that grip in the outer right hip. So both outer hips in like they're holding the tailbone, and you lift and extend out of there. Tadasana. Change sides. Firm that outer hip in. Thigh back, buttock down. You, especially that left buttock. So this frontal groin deepens. All the way, lengthen, right? Then as you're ready, come on up. Now, the more you lift up, the more you'll find you can work with the length of the low back and the pelvis. Keep the right thigh back. And hit that left knee back. If you find that balance is an issue or anything is difficult here, you can always go to a wall, no big deal. So that you work on getting the actions of the pose. So with both legs working properly, tailbone is stable, the spine can lift and extend. Then, hands together, Tadasana. Find that action on both the buttock down, thighs back. Palms together. Inhale, arms up, or Urdhva Namaskar. You can have your hands a little apart if it's too much on the shoulders. Picking fingers up. Now, exhale, bend the knees, Utkatasana. Now, descend the front groin. Heels down so the shin bones lift. So it should almost feel like there's two ropes there. Taking your thighs down, shin bones up, so that then the whole side ribs, right, lengthen upward. Now inhale, lift to standing, Namaskarasana. As you stay, focus on Tadasana so the tailbone's in, but also notice as a result how the frontal hip bones rise. Urdhva Hastasana. Lift, lengthen out of the waist. Utkatasana. Heels down, tailbone in, frontal hip bones rise. So the side body extends more. Look forward. Inhale, lift. Namaskarasana. Last one. Utkatasana. Inhale, come to standing. Namaskarasana, Tadasana. Good, everybody. Get a mat, get a strap, find a wall. Bring the narrow edge of your mat to any wall. I hope you can see me there. Yeah, you can. And get your strap. We're going to take Supta Padmasana. Oh, there it is. Supta Padmasana 1. So The same work you did in Tadasana against the wall, you do here on the ground. Heels press, buttock lengthens, spread the mounds of the foot as your front thigh moves to the back thigh. I'm kind of just going through that. You guys should pretty much have an understanding of that at this point. Keep the left thigh where it is, hug your right leg in. And now imagine I have a rope against or across your frontal thigh and I'm pulling it towards the wall. Your frontal groin on the right should deepen more and more and more as time goes by. The press of your left heel against the wall will help. Change sides. So as you draw the left leg in, accommodate for what that frontal groin is doing. It's moving away from you and to the wall. Change sides. Right leg in, take the strap, hook your foot. Supta Padmasana, 1. Hook just above the heel bone. Have the leg in a 90-degree angle, and if it helps, you see what I'm doing. I'm bending my left leg and reconnecting to the wall so that I get that subtle sensation of this right hip moving that way. It helps get the frontal groin to also move that way, which is what you want. Then press the mound, the right big toe to the ceiling to help this front thigh press away from you. Reach up, hold close to the foot, and slowly inhale and open the leg out to the right. Press the mound of the right big toe away. But keep working that effort of the frontal groin deep. If you need to put the elbow down, you can do that. If it helps you work on the actions more, please do that. Stand in the left leg so the buttock not only moves to that left heel, but the thigh moves towards the ground. Inhale, come up. Take a hold with your left hand. We're going to cross just a little. Keep your right hip on the floor and move your right leg as much to the left as you can without lifting that hip. Then push the right frontal groin away from you and towards the wall. Then drive up through your right heel. Your right elbow can be on the ground. It'll help. When you push up through your right heel, feel how the right buttock leaves the ground some. It just hovers a little, but not a lot. But when you get that hovering, the frontal groin can go to the wall. You can even hook your thumb. And the foot can come towards your left shoulder a little bit. Get both of those. Then come back to center and release that leg. Change sides. So hook that left foot. Supta Padmasana 1. Uh-oh, I'm going to be too close to the wall. Poor planning. Hold close to the foot. Keep standing in your right leg, open through the left leg, and press the mound of the left big toe away. You can bring the left elbow down, it's fine. In fact, it'll help you to deepen the frontal groin and the outer groin. Work with that as the right thigh stays down. Then inhale back to center, hold with your right hand. You're going to cross the leg over you, but keep that left hip down. Put your thumb in the left groin, push it away. Now take a breath and push from the left buttock bone to the left heel bone until the leg hovers. Then once it does, left thumb towards the wall, left foot towards your right shoulder. So let's see, I told you guys on Monday, my viewing therapy was Bob Ross. So last night it was funny movies. You guys seen Wanderlust? Oh my God. It doesn't matter how many times I watch that movie, it makes me laugh. It's just so good. Come back to center. And release, hug both legs in. Now, we're going back to the first side. You know, it's like yoga really helps our attitude, but gosh, we need to find things to laugh at. So take that strap, go back to Supta Padmasana 1, connect to that sensation. How can you get the right buttock, right groin to move from you and towards the wall? Then, here we go. Hold with your right hand, and you're going to start to bend your right leg. It's the instant you start to bend it, you can work with your hip. Bend and turn that right thigh out. Take that outer right hip towards the wall and take your time bending. It doesn't just come in one big heap. Turn that right leg out and bring your right heel towards your left shoulder, but keep the knee at a 90-degree angle. And you can rock the hips a little bit to get a little movement. That usually works pretty well. You can take your left hand to your outer right knee. You can take both hands to your outer right ankle, I meant to say, and roll that right thigh away from you and to the wall. Breathe. You should feel how this moves into your hip, not your knee. Keep your left leg active. Make it more and more active. Even the mound of the left big toe should press the wall. Then bring that leg back to Supta Padmasana 1. Change sides. So put that left foot. 1. Get a little traction in the buttock and hips if you need to. Boy, it really helps. Now put the straps in your left hand, and as soon as you bend the knee, you got to turn the thigh all the way up there in the hip. Turn it. Move that outer left hip to the wall and slowly begin the bending process. Heel's going to come to your right shoulder, but you see how I move. I rock a little to get some movement in that left buttock. And then I can hold the outer ankle. And if you get both hands on the outer ankle, that can be pretty helpful. Heel towards you, 90-degree at the knee. Roll that left thigh, and now press the right foot into the wall, even the mound of the big toe. And then Supta Padmasana 1. Release, hug both legs in. Set the strap aside. Scooch up to your wall. Take both legs directly up the wall. Urdhva Prasarita Padasana at the wall. Then once you're there, buttock touching the wall, take the heel of your hands to the frontal groin and push that frontal groin to the wall. Use the hand to press in such a way that the front thigh goes directly to the wall. It'll want to turn out. So you have to feel a little bit like you roll the inner groins towards the wall. So that's sort of half of the puzzle. Now, release your hands and in your mind's eye, roll the 2 buttock bones to the 2 heel bones, right to right, left to left. Feel how the heel bones scrub up the wall a little. In your low back, it'll come down to the ground, but not because you take it to the ground, not because you do that thing of navel to the spine that is incorrect and it's taught all the time, and it is not good. It makes the organs harden. So you have to find out, how do you do that as a response? That's buttock bones towards the heels in this case. Now, from there, you can see with your feet that your heels are about the height of the mound of the foot. Press down the mounds of the foot to the ceiling and spread from the mound of the big toe to the mound of the small toe. And feel how that gives your front thighs more awakeness, more energy to go towards the wall. Now use your hands again. So the legs are more alive. Buttock to the heels, but the back groin broadens, kneecaps lift. Now keep the legs working like that. Hook your thumbs. And as you pull the arms overhead, keep your side waist down. So you got to lengthen out of your back ribs and back waist also. Then elongate to infinity. To infinity and beyond. What's that from? Something. I don't know what. Probably Star Trek or something. I don't know. Mark would know, but he's not in class. I bet Derek knows. Okay, switch the hook of your thumbs and reach some more. Now release the arms, and you're going to bend the knees, heels to heel, or heels to the buttock bones to the heels. And now use your thumbs there. It's not like a hard push to your legs, but feel how it lengthens that inner leg, that last 4 inches again. And as you surrender, you can kind of help the legs and the flesh of the legs turn out. Baddha Konasana legs. Then release that. Turn onto your side, come on up. Oh, that work is so good. Some days I can do that for hours, all that stuff. So now I'm going to move my mat. I want you to find a place in your home like a sofa or a countertop. Orna's countertop is there in the screen. That's a great example of what to use. I'm going to move my trestle. But the top of a sofa works well. The top of an armchair works fine. Because my trestle, just so you know, is going to be a little high for what I'm going to show you to do. And I have to adjust for that. So we all have to learn how to adjust for our own bodies and for our own situations. So voila. You want something? It could be a desk, even if it's not super tall, that's okay. You want something that you can manage to manipulate so that, you see I put a block there, so that when you stand, it's roughly at your hips, roughly, okay? Now, once I'm there, I'm going to take my right leg up for Utthita Hasta Padangusthasana. So once that leg is up, my heel just rests. I have to make this right frontal groin descend. Let's see, there's no good way to show you this. If I just hang out there, my right hip is back, my left hip is forward. So I gotta press my right thigh back and stand in my right leg. Actually, it's my left leg, but I'm talking in mirror form. So find what you can. Sorry to run you all around your house, but this one's so good that sometimes we have to do that. And it's not even just you have to do that for this class, but it's because I want to give you tools to use. So now if you feel in any way that that goes into your low back, you bend your standing leg and descend the buttock flesh. And you work to keep it descending as you slowly straighten the left leg and take the left thigh back. Yeah, Derek, that's good. Mound of the right big toe presses away. And just have your hands at your sides. Feel how, because the tailbone is in, you can observe that the 2 frontal hip points have a sense of rising, almost like they're looking up. And yes, the abdomen is deep, but in no way, shape, or form would I say to draw your navel to your spine, because that causes your organs to harden. And you don't want to do that. We want our organs to be healthy. Hard organs are not healthy organs. Good. Breathe through the nose. Then change sides. Just arrange like you need to arrange. I'm using that blanket in a second, so that's why I'm not moving it all together. So, you know, you can form the shape and hang in your joints all day long. You want to stand in that standing leg, descend the buttock, stand in the standing leg. Press through the mound of that right big toe or left big toe, pardon me. Whatever leg's up. I think it's your left. I've lost track. But feel the deepening of the frontal groin and the awakeness of the opposite leg frontal groin. And then just breathe and be. stay. You know, and sometimes it just feels like a comfortable place to be. Usually there's a lot of movement and dancing around, and that's good. Good. Yeah, Jerry, and keep working with bending your standing leg and descending the buttock. It should feel like something's hanging off the top of your buttock. We're taking care of this kitten that showed up out of nowhere. You know, I love kittens. I've never seen such an annoying kitten. You can be sitting there and he'll just leap at you and grab on, whether you're wearing shorts or pants. It just doesn't seem to matter to him. So imagine that kitten is hanging off the back of your buttock and you got to take that buttock down. Okay, now change side. We're not changing sides. In fact, release that. Now bring, you see I'm putting a blanket here. There's a mat under it just so it's there for cushioning. So consider what you just did was like Supta Padangusthasana to the side. So now we're going to work on doing essentially Supta Padangusthasana 2. So you want to have the proper height, have some distance between you and the prop. Your right leg comes up. You see how I'm just kind of lifting it up so my shin's there, and I bring the leg onto that prop. At first, oh, my knee wants to lift. So I bend my standing leg, and I relax this leg and just kind of coax it down like you can descend. The more the hip descends, then you get it. And then you want to keep turning that thigh out as you work to straighten the standing leg. That's where we're going. It's so good on the hips and the back. Those of you that deal with sacroiliac issues, oh gosh, you should do this. Now, the first order of business is to get this right leg to release and relax down. My shin bone is perpendicular or parallel to my chest. My chest is right in the center of that shin. I turn the upper thigh bone out and I drop that right buttock down, 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 as if there's a kitten hanging on it. Then I maintain it down as I lift through my standing left leg, kneecap up. Now here's where it gets interesting. Stay with me. Release and relax through your right leg. Now as you look forward, spread the mound of your left big toe and take that top left thigh back. Take the top left thigh back. You'll even feel the inner left groin slightly move back. And by moving and working with your standing leg, it will adjust and correct the lifted leg. Keep the trunk of the body as upright as you can. And keep that top left thigh bone back, 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 back. And as that left thigh stays back and over your ankle, you can toy around with coming forward. Now, when you come forward, the buttock is still descending. So to say that your side waist goes forward is slightly incorrect. It's your side ribs all the way to the armpit chest. That lengthens. And you breathe and you take your time. You keep that thigh back and you work where it's right for you. It takes time for some of us. I have a right hip issue. It took me a long time where I could have balance here and actually just hang out. So, you know, don't be in such a rush. But as you go, release and relax that standing leg more and more with time. I'm moving a little bit because I want to see what's going on that screen. I'm coming back. You stay. Keep doing. Correct. Top thigh, top left thigh. Imagine I'm taking that thigh back. Let's see. Listen, Orna, take your top left thigh back and move the inner groin back. Now, here's the thing. It will make your right hip lift in a very specific way. You have to allow for that. There's a dance happening there. So when things are in order, it means they're in order, but it doesn't mean they never move. Take that left inner groin back and feel how your right buttock bone will spread away from the midline. It'll feel like my fingers are on your right buttock bone, pulling a little bit to the right. Okay, and then release that and come up. Just be in Tadasana for a second. I'm going to turn my trestle around because I'm realizing you can't really see all that much of what I'm doing. Get ready for the second side. What I mean by that leg, it's how you stand in your standing leg that will adjust that upper leg. So, when I bend, this thigh will want to stay forward. It's a congestion that happens in the hip. But I can't look at myself and do it. It's over time that this goes back and it takes the inner groin back and it causes an action in the hip so that your left buttock bone broadens. It's not that the leg hikes up. It's not that the hip lifts again. It's that there's a broadness in the base. I hope that makes sense. Try it again. Try on the other side. Now, remember when we were lying on our back doing Supta Padangusthasana 2. This is essentially that pose. So there's some rules that apply as from before. Look at your left knee as it's lifted. You want to have that roughly at a 90-degree angle. In other words, don't pull it way in. Don't be so close that you're like already in a Padmasana leg. Keep that at 90 degrees so that when you come forward, right, you can see this thigh's going back. What you can't see is my left buttock broadens slightly from beneath, from the buttock bones. And it's that right thigh back that allows for the movement and the side ribs forward. And it's likely you'll find one side gets it and one side doesn't, or one side understands a little more than another. So it's something that's worthwhile to study a little bit on your own. Take some time with it. Let's see. Then release that side and come on up. I'm going to try and show you one more time so that it makes sense. I'm going to show you from behind because I think you'll see more, because that's how I could see that Orna's hip was a little funny on that one side. Because when you get up here, we're determined to get this buttock down. That's correct. But do you see how it's over down? When I work my standing leg back, now this is my right leg. When this moves, watch how this is affected. There it goes. Is that apparent? No? Yeah, okay. So I just want to show you because it can really, really be helpful in releasing the back. Let's do it one more time. You all getting a good balance there? Do it one more time. You're just going to touch it so you can kind of feel that, and then we're going to move on. So I'm just going to give you about, I don't know, half a minute on each side. You know, the ankle of that lifted leg, it's not a hard flex, but it's certainly not a point. You know, just kind of keep it in check. Make sure that the knee feels fine. This should never go into your knees. If it does, then what was it, yesterday or was it Monday that we did this knee thing? I could also, whoops, that's not stable. I could also have you working this way to make this length out of the inner knee, right? We did that in class a couple of days ago. Change sides. So the more that standing leg thigh goes back, the more the lifted leg buttock will broaden from the buttock bone. And then you can begin to come forward easily. Buttock is still down in the side, ribs lengthen to take you forward. Good, and then release and come on up. Once you do, Shirshasana, headstand. If you are not familiar with Shirshasana, then I'll show you what to do instead. Or if you're on your menstrual cycle, don't go upside down. I'll show you what to do instead. You will need 2 blankets and a brick if you're not going upside down. Otherwise, come on up into headstand. I will meet you up there because we are going to do some fun things in headstand. It won't be a long headstand. Oh, okay. So, if you're on your cycle and you're not going upside down, you take a blanket, you fold it in half like that, and you put it on the ground, and then you do that with another one. And you take such Bandha Sarvangasana in this way with 1 brick. The shoulders are on the blankets. The head is on the ground. The brick is under the tailbone. You turn your upper arm bones out, buttock away from the lower back, and then you straighten your legs. This will be your alternative today. Oh, it feels pretty good, but I'm going to go ahead up there into that headstand and meet you guys in there. Should already be exploring that and getting steady. Press the outer wrists, outer forearms down to get that lift through the bicep, all the way up through the shoulders, lifting away from the ears. And once you're up there, separate your feet and push the heels up. Roll the back waistband of the buttock to the heels. So much so that the buttock flesh, it should feel like it hugs to the midline and lifts to your hamstrings. Then bring the mounds of the big toes together and spread the mounds of the big toes so that as the mounds of the big toes press up, the hamstrings grip to your buttock and the buttock grips to the hamstrings. And it should almost feel like I've got a hold of your big toes and I'm lifting you out of your waist to the ceiling. Lift up there. Imagine your inner legs are that lifter, almost like there's a string on the inner legs that lifts you up, 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 up. So that the side waist elongates in a very similar way as it does in Tadasana. Now, turn both feet out so your heels touch each other. And begin to separate the legs. Push the right buttock bone to your right heel. Push the left buttock bone to your left heel. And lengthen the heels away from you like the buttock bones are pushing them away. They'll come slightly forward, then press the mounds of the big toes away. The outer groin should firm and lift towards the ceiling as the mounds of the big toes press. Then, soles of the feet together. Heels press heels. Now, those of you that are in class with me on the screen, live, I know every single one of you, and I know every single one of you have been in headstand in the ropes. So imagine those ropes are across your frontal groins and you're hanging from those frontal groins. That's where the pressure should be. That's where the lift should be. Shirshasana. Buttock to the heels, tailbone in, hamstrings to buttock.
Turn your feet out one more time. Go up. Buttock bones to the heels, right to right, left to left. Push the mounds of the big toes away and feel how that lifts the frontal groins. Keep that lift of the frontal groin. Padmasana. Shirshasana. Now, separate the feet, buttock to the heels. Get all that lift again. Big toe mounds together. Now, as you come down, keep pressing those big toe mounds away from you to keep the front thighs lifted. Kneecaps lift so the front thighs stay buoyant, giving you control the whole way down. Then child's pose. Bring the hands under the shoulders. Come on up with the head last. Open up your mat. Upavishta Konasana. Buttock to the heel. Broaden the mounds of the foot. Thigh bones down. Crawl up out of the waist. Divide the body in the waist, right? Buttock descending, side ribs lifting. Any amount. You can bring the fingertips forward and hold the big toes if you can reach. If you can't reach, you can narrow the stance a little. Press the mounds of the big toes away now. Push out into your fingers. So the top thigh goes down and the outer groins goes down. There's a resulting action that you should be able to connect with in the low abdomen. That's one of lift and buoyancy. Elongate the side ribs, any amount. Keep those outer groins down, come forward and down. And come on out. Hold the inner knees, Padmasana. Buttock to the heels. Surrender the low back, down. You can hold the ankles or the front of the foot. Right buttock bone to right heel, left buttock bone to left heel. Interlock the fingers and press the palms forward. Keep the heels pressing and press the palms forward so those side ribs elongate. Change the hook of your fingers, same thing. One up. Lift the legs, straighten the legs. Janu Shirshasana, left leg back first. So, Janu Shirshasana. Now, before we come in, descend that left outer groin. Left buttock to left heel, right buttock to right heel. Inhale, and with your exhale, come forward, touch toes to toes, or use a strap if you need. But press the mound of that right big toe away. So as you press the mound of the right big toe away, can you connect to that helping you descend that left buttock some? Doesn't mean it's going to hard press the ground, but it does mean it creates a rhythm in that leg even as you come forward. And release them up, change sides. Right leg back. Right buttock to right heel, left buttock to left heel. Press the mound of the left big toe away. Do you guys feel how significant that press of the mound of the straight leg, big toe away can be all the way back in your bent right leg? Yeah, good. Connect to that because, listen, that's the connectivity of prana. That's that connectivity of the lift from the base. So use it. You know, lift up, come forward as you're ready, and re-engage that straight leg so you can work with this lifted leg. Because otherwise, what happens when we just make shapes is this lift or this right buttock tends to grip up into the low back, and that is not correct. So then, keeping both legs awake, take a breath, and with an exhale, come forward to experience the rhythm in your right leg. Janu Shirshasana means head of the knee pose, meaning the head of your right knee should be down. That means the right knee on the ground. So don't force it down if it's lifted. You might need blankets. But that is what that means. It does not mean put your head on your left knee. Inhale, come on up. Release both legs. Now, good. I wanted to get through that quickly enough, which is why I kind of rushed, because I want us to be able to get to this next bit. In fact, before we do, one time, Paschimottanasana, and then I'm going to turn myself so you can see me. But again, Paschimottanasana, buttock to the heels, spread the mounds of the foot, lift, and come on in. Work with the activity in the legs. Lengthen your side ribs to bring the body forward into the pose. Ooh. And then as you're ready, go on and release and inhale, come on up. So I'm going to turn my mat like that. I'm not sure this is going to be the right direction. I might just flip back and forth a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. But this is supine work. We are going to be on our backs doing this work, so there's only so much you're going to see, but you're going to have to hear what's going on. So I'll show you the general outline of the work. You're going to be in Ekapada Pavana Mukhatasana. Sorry, I'm just moving my chair so I can see that I'm actually in the screen. I'm pretty sure that I am, but mystery sometimes. Yeah, I think you can see me, yeah. So you guys all know Urdhva Prasarita Padasana. You're going to reach the arms overhead, sideways down, legs are going to straighten. Now, here's what I'd like you to be able to do. I'd like you to be able to catch the outer feet and work to straighten your legs. So listen, that is buttock towards your heels. That is spreading the mounds of the foot. Now, if you don't quite catch, it's all right. You can use a strap, but I want it to be, well, it has to be close, but it has to be comfortable for you so that your frontal groins are moving away and the abdomen is deep. So that is where we start. Then we'll cross the legs and hold the outer heels. So both thigh bones turn away. The flesh of the thigh turns away. Then I hold, you see how I'm holding my pinky toe edge and I'm pushing my thumbs into the big toe mound. I do that to turn the legs more and the feet come under the knees. Now, what that allows for is it's a lot of support so that my buttock is still down, my inner legs lengthen to my inner knees, frontal thighs lengthen to my front knees, outer legs lengthen to the outer knees, and I reach. So it's a Supta Swastikasana. We'll do that first in that same order. So you just have to switch your legs, right? Then as we deepen it, it's the same pattern. You just go back each time. You got to keep track of which leg you do first. Now, the second round, when we have done both legs, I release one leg. I'm releasing my right leg. I use that leg to guide this left knee down. I don't force it, I guide it. If the knees don't hit the ground comfortably, you put a blanket under your shin bones so they do. The buttock has to stay lengthened. But then you get all that nice opening in this hip. It should be in the hip, not the knee. Then the leg starts to move to Padmasana. You can start to work with it there and you get some length. But understand this, I don't know, this series of how to move has an awful lot to do with this space in your groin, quite obviously. You need to work so that the frontal hip bones lift and the buttock moves that way, because that's what helps open that space of the femur bones to pull away from you. So that's how we're working with it. So when this leg starts to come in, that is the rhythm of it. This has to really lengthen away. Okay? Don't do it if your knees hurt you, but let's give it a try. And if the knees hurt, you just keep switching swastikasana and doing that only. Okay? So hug the legs in, First, we'll repress Padmasana, reach the arms overhead, hook the thumbs, sideways down, legs at a 90 degree. Spread the mounds of the foot so the tailbone flows towards the heels. Switch the hook of your thumbs. Lengthen, lengthen. Now exhale and bring the feet close. Hook your outer feet. Broaden the mounds of the foot. So the knees are straight, frontal groins move away. Just use a strap if you need to, no big deal. Now you're going to cross the shin bone, whatever leg's in front, just make a note of it. Lift up, hold your outer heels. Fingers on your outer heels for a moment. The knees roll away from you and you pull the heels towards the knees. So it's like sitting in swastikasana and bending forward a little bit. Except in this version, you can really work to lengthen the outer groins away from your back. Then walk your hands up to the pinky toe edge, thumb on the big toe mound, turn the foot, and the feet come kind of under your hips. Let the outer foot come down because it keeps the buttock moving away, and you lengthen inner thighs to inner knees, frontal thighs, frontal knees, reach your arms overhead, hook your thumbs, lengthen. Now observe how through the work of the legs and the buttock, the tailbone is in. Now remember which leg's on top. You're going to release the legs, lift them up, hook the outer foot with your hands, and we begin again. Deep in the frontal groins, inner groins, outer groins. Now other shin on top, hold your outer heels, roll the thighs away. Make sure the work is in your thighs and your hips, not your knees. Hold the outer pinky toe edge and turn the foot, Supta Swastikasana, buttock away, knees away. Reach the arms overhead and divide from the waist. Okay. Release and hook the outer feet and straighten the legs again. Cross the first leg over, hold the outer ankles, pull those outer ankles towards you. Then turn the feet, Supta Swastikasana. Now, listen, now is where we might change sides. It just depends on whichever shin bone is the furthest away from you. For me, it's my right one. So I'm going to release my right leg, and I'll just kind of help place my left leg. So the left leg reaches forward and down. Then the right heel can be on that inner left knee, and I kind of move the flesh of that last 4 inches of my thigh away and down. Again, you should feel that in your hip, in your psoas, in the leg, not in your knee. Now, once I've got that, okay, hold your inner lifted knee, pull it out to the side and grab the outer heel. Walk your hand to the pinky toe edge. Now you aim that heel towards your upper left leg so that you place the outer foot on your left leg. Now lengthen your right thigh away from you and down. Lengthen it, lengthen it, lengthen it. Length is the name of the game. You can just hold that foot from beneath and roll the shoulders back and make that space. Then release it. Hold the outer feet, straighten the legs. Cross the other shin bone on top this time, heels towards you. Turn the foot, place the legs in Supta Swastikasana. Tailbone in, release that leg that's away from you the most. It should be the other side now. So bottom leg forward and down, breathe. You can use that free foot to kind of steer the right leg. Hold your inner left knee, draw it back, and hold the outer foot in the same way you've been turning it for that Supta Swastikasana, right? Turn it and roll. The left thigh rolls away from you to go forward and down. Breathe into the side body. Keep the jaw soft. And then release and hug the legs in. Now, before we do the last bit, have a blanket with you in case you need it. And the reason I say that is when you do Padmasana from here, frequently the knees don't come down. And it's normally fine, but no, I'm just trying to protect you. So, you might want that blanket there for your legs or your shin bones, so you'll be doing something like that. So that's up to you, but that's how you use it. Grab your outer feet, straighten your legs. So those groins, you're making that space again every time. Okay, first leg, heels towards you first. Get that turn of the thigh bone. Learn that rhythm now. Hold the small pinky toe edge and turn the feet as you turn the legs. Release the leg in the front. As you're ready, look for that half Padmasana that you did before. If it doesn't work for you, do the Supta Swastikasana. It'll be good. It'll be helpful. Lengthen the right buttock, or lengthen the lifted leg buttock. Now, assuming that leg feels good, you lift the other leg up and you lift yourself up. Lift up and reach for it. The other leg that's already hooked flows away from you. Then ideally, you're not going to just throw your knees down now. Hands on your mat, grab on, push the mat away, and reach the front thighs forward and down. If it feels like too much, there's that blanket, or you could get another blanket. But you want to lengthen as you lift your chest. Then you can do two things. You can just come up, or you can draw the knees closer to you. If you come up, you lean forward, you release the legs. And then you're back down. Hook the outer feet, second side. So when I was first really working with my own Padmasana, I did this a lot. I mean, sometimes this would just be my whole sequence that I just work on for a couple hours every day. And it really helped me understand how to lengthen the legs right. So it's worth exploring. But, like anything, Padmasana has really huge advantages. It's really useful. It's a helpful pose. But you have to be reasonable. Don't force your legs into these movements before the time is ready. But, you follow the actions from the beginning and you start to incorporate them, and then before you know it, the body just moves. So you see, when I bring this leg on top, I don't just haul that leg. I move the bottom leg to get there. Right? Then buttock away, lengthen the legs away to begin to bring them down, and the chest will lift. If it's too much, you can also put the wall there behind you, by the way. So your legs just go a little bit to the wall. And it gets that groin region to move. Then you can either lift the legs towards you and release them, or you can sit up and lean forward, and that gives you an opportunity to release them. Really good. Lastly, Setu Bandha Sarvangasana. So before you do, straighten your legs, heels on the ground, push the heels down, broaden the foot so your kneecaps lift. So any residual sort of weirdness there is stabilized. Then have a brick or two. Strap your legs if you're going to put that brick on the tall height. I've been saying it for some time now. I'm actually able to get to these preparations that I've been wanting to film. So those are on my list right now. They're kind of the next to do. So hopefully I'll get those done by the weekend so that I can just say, do whatever subject that you're working on. And that way you'll know that, there's a stage for you. You guys all know that have taken class with me though. Tailbone in, turn the upper arm bones out. By the way, when you begin this, like at this stage, when you're turning the arms out, it's a fantastic way to realize and feel how that pressure of the upper body comes into your outer upper arms, not your neck, not C7. C7 is lifted here quite a bit when you get the proper turn. So start from there. You can hold the mat, you can hold the strap if you want. Heels away, then mounds of the foot away. Lift the chest and breathe. And then bring the knees, lift the hips up, tailbone in. Lower down vertebra by vertebra. Release that strap. If your low back feels hinky at all after doing that, just have a quick seat and be in swastikasa and just reach the arms forward for a few breaths. And you just change sides. It's just the way to release the back if you need it. If you don't need it, you don't need it. You go right into Shavasana, right? And then Shavasana. So all those things we've been working on, use them as you enter Shavasana so the low back is long. So it's this work that, gosh, it does so many things. Releases a grip in the low back or that SI joint pain. It can really work with all those things. But also, it sets us up to move forward. And what I mean by that is it helps us learn the actions we need to apply in back bending. Because back bending is also incredibly advantageous to your low back. But if these actions aren't solidified in the body first, then back bends can be a little bit poisonous because they don't originate from a good spot. Okay? So, understand what is useful to come first, second, third. And that's, look, when Guruji laid out things for us, he laid it out so that you really have to learn these kind of standing or seated poses and forward bends first. So that's all. Surrender, let go. Allow the body to release completely and totally. As if you could begin to live in the space between the cells of you. In the Upanishads, they talk about how inside the microcosm of each individual is the macrocosm of the sun, the moon, the lightning, and all of the stars. That magic exists inside of us. And the only one that can bring that magic to life is you.
It's that magic that's the spark of creativity in everyone. Yeah, and in my opinion, it's why the yoga practice, for me anyway, is essential. When you look up in the sky at night and you see all the stars, just imagine each of those stars like a cell in your body. They support you, but you live in the space between them, which means there is no hard one way, there is no specific rule. There's space, there's freedom. That's the spark of creativity, the spark of potential. Know that that magic and potential lies inside of you just as much as anyone else. You bring the hands to rest on the frontal body. Bend the knees and roll yourself onto the right hand side. Rest there for a moment. And then use your hands to press the floor away. And come back to sitting. And that's all for this evening. Namaskar, everyone.